Welcome everyone to my session of the Innovators 2024 for ROCCO. In my session, I will present my latest innovation, Spotlight. The Spotlight is a product that will give you unprecedented transparency in terms of the M2M IoT traffic. But first of all, let me present. My name is Rui Ribeiro. I'm the head of data management service at Comfone. Let's start with the problem. So as everyone knows, the existing ecosystem is evolving due to the emergence and expansion of the M2M IoT traffic. So the M2M IoT traffic is increasing when we compare with the standard roaming. Another thing is this type of traffic has different usage patterns. For example, we have healthcare devices that are very low usage, so they don't use a lot of data. Then we can have cars where they use media players and maps where there's high data and different requirements and applications. There are devices that they need to work 24/7. Some devices they need just work one time per day. So the charging models that we are working in the roam industry, normally they are focused on the traditional roaming. It means that they care about usage in terms of voice minutes, SMS, and data. But since M2M IoT traffic in the majority of the case are low usage, these charging models are not ideal for this type of traffic. It means if the operators that don't have specific charging models for M2M, they will have revenue loss and no monetization. So the marketplace for our solution, of course, is the roam industry with all the players. We are talking about MNOs, MVNOs, or IoT providers. So the thing that we think is missing in this type of new ecosystem is transparency and simplification. So operators need to know what type of traffic they are receiving regarding M2M IoT traffic or sending, but they need to have a simple way to understand the different components involved in terms of this traffic. Because as I mentioned, this traffic doesn't have the same patterns as the standard roaming. So what we think is needed is a solution that empowers any operator in the world that can monitor first this type of traffic and then do the monetization in an effectively way. So our solution Spotlight can tackle all these requirements. So I'll start with some of the features that Spotlight can bring. So what is Spotlight? Spotlight is a powerful dashboard that has business intelligence capabilities and also empowers operators to monitor and monetize M2M traffic. So it's bringing the simplicity and the full transparency. Spotlight can also have multi-detection criteria. For example, most of the operators use IMSI ranges to detect M2M traffic because using device types or APNs can be more difficult. The problem of using IMSI ranges mainly is that I can receive 10 IMSI ranges for a roaming partner to apply for the detection, but in the next month, this roaming partner might give more ranges to another company of M2M, and then the IMSI ranges that I have are outdated. So if we combine IMSI ranges with other criteria, we can filter all this traffic and we can monetize all. So in Spotlight, the tool will suggest what is the best criteria to detect this type of traffic. Another thing that is very important when we talk about M2M is to understand the nature of this traffic. What is the application? Because when I'm receiving cars as an M2M IoT device, okay, the high usage will be the main point because the car is a media player. But when I receive healthcare devices, for example, pacemaker controllers, then we are talking about low users. And the requirements in terms of security and in terms of stability are different. So it's always very important to know I'm receiving M2M or I'm sending M2M, but what is the real application in terms of industry? Then, of course, the trends and usage patterns. We all need to know if I'm getting more traffic, which is the roaming partner that is putting more traffic, I'm getting less, and what is the pattern? Is normally from this roaming partner low usage or it's high usage? So it's very important to know what is the trend. In terms of data to ingest into this dashboard, we can ingest any type of data. We can ingest signaling data, we can use users data, or even CDR. So we are open to any kind of data, because the more data, the more we can detect. One of my favorite functionalities is the benchmark and forecasting. Why? Because I can have traffic, but I don't know if I'm receiving more than the others or if I'm sending more than others. Since Comfone has a big data lake, in Spotlight, operators can benchmark their traffic in terms of trends with more than 250 customers at Comfone in average. So they can see if they are above the average or below the average in terms of sending and receiving. Plus, they can use the traffic from the past of this operator to do the forecasting. What is very important when they need to budget how much money they need to pay or reserve in terms of M2M IoT traffic. Since the tool is ingesting this traffic in a daily basis, is a real-time dashboard. So they can use this dashboard to do real-time decision. And they can also use this dashboard to do the negotiations, for example, during the wars. So if we talk about a nutshell, we have all these functionalities, but I want to focus on 3 more. We have the alerts part. So if the traffic is increasing, the operator that is using get an alarm that there is an increase of 50% for this roaming partner. The fact that we are using machine learning to do some correlations in terms of the roaming application of these IoT devices, plus they can export these business presentations into their laptop or into a tablet. There is a multi-device compatibility. So, since the time is short for this session, I don't have time to do a live demo of Spotlight. So what I did is I took a print screen from Spotlight, and here you can see. So if you start in the top, you can see that the top is mainly filters about the year, the roaming direction, the traffic type, the APN industry, and the TADIX. But if you go below, you start seeing nice figures. You can see that in October 2023, there is an increase of 24%. And then you can compare if this is a good increase. Then we use our community of data clearing data, and we can see the trend of 250 DC customers, and you can figure out if you are above or below the others, okay? So then when we go to the service type, we can see how much was done for voice, SMS, and GPRS. Then if you start go below, in the left side, we can see what is the top networks that are putting more M2M versus standard, how much is inbound versus outbound, how much is the standard inbound versus outbound, and also what is the total of roamers for M2M in this case. If we go below, we can see the different criteria of detection. We see device types, we see APNs and IMSI range. So just for all the traffic, because I don't have any TADIC selected, I can see that I should use device types as my main criteria for detecting M2M. But in this case, I don't have any TADIC. Maybe if I put a TADIC, in this case, maybe the IMSI range, instead of being 52%, will be 99, and I can use IMSI range. Then if you go to the middle, we can see the forecasting. We can forecast 2024 based on the previous date. If we go below, we can see the device types, and we can see that what are the 5 industries that we can see based on the APN. This is done basically using machine learning, that we can see what is the company behind, and based on the company, we can see the industry. So we can see if a specific operator is putting mainly cars, or they are putting more healthcare or generic IoTs. Then if you go to the right, we can see if the traffic will be mainly low usage, normal usage, or high usage. So as you can see, all these factors makes all the sense when we are trying to do a proper negotiation, because we need to know what is the criteria for detect, how is the traffic doing in terms of usage, what will be the trend. Now, if we talk about the business model, we can see a lot of benefits. We can use this powerful dashboard for negotiations, or we can even use this dashboard for validating a reconciliation invoice. For example, I'm getting an invoice to pay a certain amount, and I can go to the dashboard to see if in October or in September, the number of IMSIs that I agree in my agreement are valid. It can also help to determine the optimal criteria. We can use for benchmark and forecasting. We can use also for usage thresholds, very important when you talk about BC, where you can have tier models, and also very suitable for executive level presentations. In terms of scalability, we can see that you don't need to be a customer on phone to use this tool. So any customer in the world, any operator in the world can use this tool. Of course, we need to ingest their data. In terms of usage, is a cloud-based. It means that you just need internet to access this dashboard. In terms of data, we have a scalable database. It means the more data we can grow our database. You can use this for full monetize your IT traffic. So you can use for any agreement that you have or for the new agreements. And Spotlight will be a modular product. It means that the first model is this M2M dashboard, but in the future, we will create more models for other topics, maybe 5G standalone. In terms of pricing, the price works based on storage and processing. It means the more data you have, the highest the price, the less data we need to store, the lowest is the price, so it's the tier price. In terms of competency in delivering, we have the product with me, so I'm the responsible for this product. And in the backend, we have ROCCO. ROCCO is very important because all these aggregations that we need to implement in order to show in the dashboard are done in the backend, plus all the new metrics that we need to incorporate are done by ROCCO. I'm in the product side checking what are the requirements from the business. In terms of competences, as everyone knows, Comfone is a lot of time in the market, 25 years. We have more than 600 customers around the world. We are very customer and business case oriented, and we have an expertise in big data. I'm the head of data management service since 2017. It means that we have a lot of experience in terms of big data. Just to give some figures, a customer can have 100 million records per day. So we need to process all this data in a very fast way in terms to have real data for the visualization. And of course, we have in-house development. What is the technology? As I mentioned, we have a cloud-based deployment. We are using a FlexOne powerful processing framework. And of course, we need to store all this data in a database for big data. We call NoSQL. We are using machine learning for doing some data categorization, for example, the APN industries. And of course, we need to integrate with a nice visualization tool. And for that, we select Tableau. That is a well-known market leading tool for visualization. Plan of delivery. As we all know, we start always with the proof of concept. So we start with the proof of concept internally when we check all the technical requirements, if we can implement this in order to have a fast dashboard and with the real-time data. Then we went with the proof of concept with two big customers of TMS that they give the requirements for the M2M business. And then we create the first dashboard, M2M IoT dashboard. Then we start the productization with creating service description, marketing collaterals, and the live deployment. Then in our connection in Bangkok, in our event, we announce Spotlight and we present to more than 200 customers. Then we did the first release in August last year, and after 2 months, we get our first live customers. Now, since then, we are collecting feedback from these customers and other operators in the market in order to improve this M2M dashboard. Then the next step is to create a new dashboard that we call the new model that can be 5G standalone and incorporate in Spotlight. As I indicate, Spotlight is our latest innovative product, and it will bring a lot of transparency for the M2M IoT traffic. I hope that you enjoy my section. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.